Hi everyone, and welcome back. In this video, what we're going to do is see how to create some flows within Node-RED and visualize some things on the Node-RED dashboard. So let's get started. First, let me get out of your way here, and let's open up a browser. And if you're not logged in already, go ahead and log into your AWS account. And what we want to do is just go back and make sure we've got the right public IP address for our AWS EC2 instance. So what we want to do is go to the EC2 area. And on the left-hand side here, we want to go into the instances area and click on instances. Then we'll come over and click on our instance ID to show us the properties of our instance. And that will show us our public IP address right here. So we want to copy that. And if I open up a new tab in my browser, what I'm going to do is paste that IP address in. And then remember, to get to Node-RED, we need to enter :1880. And again, 1880 is just the port number that Node-RED is running on the EC2 instance. If I hit enter, that will open up Node-RED. And this should be, let me get rid of that. This should be where we left off. So we had an MQTT input node that was reading data, and we had a debug node that was showing us the message payload. All right, let me go ahead and deploy that. And if I click up here in the top right corner, this little icon that looks like a squashed bug, those are our debug messages. And we can see that we are getting data. Our payload, if you will, here, this message.payload, is this JSON object. Again, it opens with a squiggly, ends with a squiggly. It's got the name, and then the value. Good. So we've got communications. That's an excellent first step. The next thing we want to do is let's add in an option to where we can display this. Okay, we want to show this on a dashboard. So if we come over here into where our nodes are, and if we scroll all the way down at the bottom, we'll find our dashboard nodes from the dashboard module that we imported in the last video. And let's go down and grab one of them that says text, just T-E-X-T, text. Okay, and just left click and drop it into our workspace and double click on it to edit it. Let me get rid of a couple things here. I was doing some work ahead of time just to make sure everything worked okay. So let me get rid of that. When you come to this node, you'll see something that looks like that, where it's asking you to add a new user interface group and then show some properties here of the node. So the first thing we want to do is click on this pencil icon to add a new dashboard group node. Okay. So what we want to do here is we've got a name and we've got a tab. Okay. The way the tabs work is if you only have, or if you only specify one tab continually for all your nodes that you're going to use on the dashboard, then what will happen is everything will just be shown on one big screen. Okay. And whatever you use here for the name of your tab will be shown in your dashboard just as the title. If you make multiple tabs, right? If you have multiple tab names, which is fine, you can do that as well. Then what will happen is in your Node-RED dashboard, up in the top left corner, you'll have a button you can click that's a drop down that will show you all your different tabs so you can flip between them. So again, you can either show everything all in one area on the screen, or you can have multiple tabs and switch between them. Up to you. To make the tab name, we click on this pencil icon. Okay, and I'm going to call this IDEC Automation Dashboard. You can call yours whatever you like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use one tab, so I'm just going to have this as the title and show a bunch of different things on the same screen. Everything else here is perfectly fine. We can leave it alone. And for our name, this is what's going to show up as part of a section of your dashboard. So if I want this to be like in a monitor section, for example, or read-only, right? Read-only data, I can do that. And again, I can call this whatever I want. All right, that's good for now. Let's click on Add. And now we're back in our properties box of our text node. For the label, this is what's going to show up on your dashboard as the label of this object. So here, what I'm going to do is I'll just call this temperature, and maybe I want it to say degrees F, so the operator knows the scale that the temperature is coming in at. Down below for the value format, you can see this is already message.payload, and we can see our message.payload is a full JSON object here, right? Open squiggly, the name, colon, the value, and then the close squiggly. Now, if we left this as message.payload, we would see this whole message displayed. And that's not really what we want. In this example, what I would really like to see is just my label, temperature degrees F, and then the actual value. So how do we get the value out of this? Well, the easiest way to do it is if we click down in here where it says value format, click out to the end, we'll go right inside those two squigglies on the outside, right in front of where it says payload, or right at the end of payload rather. We'll put in a period temperature. Okay. So what I've got inside those two squigglies now is message.payload.temperature. So what this is going to do is it will go and grab whatever's called temperature out of my entire message.payload object and show the value. Okay, this is the value format of it. So I can get to the temperature data simply by doing that. Now down below here we've got this layout, and this is just visually how do we want this to appear in our dashboard, and set it up however you like. Once we're done, we can click done here. And then finally what we need to do is go ahead and tie the MQTT input node to this, because this is where the data is coming from. Okay, so to do that, if I click on this output node of the MQTT input node, if I click on that, left click and drag down to the input side of this text node and release, that will connect them together. Now if I click on deploy, again that will make this active. Okay. And now what I want to do is I want to go to the dashboard. I want to see the dashboard. Before we do that, let's take a look at Node-RED here. If we go to the top right where we've got this triangle drop down, click on that, and you'll see now down at the bottom we've got this thing called dashboard. What this will let you do is look at the layout, the site, the theme of your dashboard. You can go in and change all these things. The layout is very handy. I'm not sure what that is. Let me delete that. I've got something extra in there. Not sure what that is. I might have added something way down here or something. I don't know. We'll find out later. I'm not sure what that is. Can't delete it out of there. Let me see if I can delete it this way. Edit. Delete. There we go. So I deleted that out. I'm not sure what that was. But we're in the dashboard, and we can see we called it IDEC Automation Dashboard. We've got a section called Monitor Read Only. And within that section, I've got this node, temperature degrees, F. Okay. The nice thing about this layout is whenever you start adding additional nodes in here, then if you simply highlight over the dashboard in here, you can go over these different objects, and it will highlight in orange dashed lines what you're hovering over on your flow. So it makes it easy to see. Like for example, right now, I've hovered over this temperature node in the layout section, and it's highlighted in the flow. So it makes it easy to see what's what, and then it allows you to order things as well. And we'll go over that. All right, I'm good with this. Let's go ahead and deploy that. And now what I want to do is I want to see my dashboard. So to do that, I'll come up here and open up a new tab. I'll go ahead and paste back in the IP address. And again, we want :1880. Again, we're on port 1880 for Node-RED. The dashboard is shown under something called /UI for user interface. So that's the address that you can use to get to your dashboard. Okay. So your public IP address, :1880/UI. If I hit enter, that'll take us to the dashboard, and we can see where I typed in the name IDEC Automation Dashboard. That's shown up here kind of like a title. I've got the name monitor read only that I put in. And the text object, or the text node, we said it had a name. We called it temperature degrees F. And here we can see the temperature value coming from our PLC. Okay. So far so good. We've got a dashboard that's a public dashboard that we can see. We're looking at our temperature. This is a good start. So what we'll do in the next video is we'll continue to expand on this. We'll add some additional objects. We'll add some additional sections beside this monitor read only, and just continue building this up. So thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you on the next video.